All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here, reporting in for a few different lists from every faction, trying to make sure that you have a few different ideas for lists that are anti-impact, because I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of triple ATST and or still double darks and lots of armor. So today I'm just going to go over every faction, some different anti-armor lists and or high impact lists that seem kind of fun or might help, and just a few ideas behind them so that you have a better understanding of maybe what you could do against a lot of armor lists. Like I bet you're probably going to see a lot of the ATSTs with the Elite Armor Pilot, the Grenade Launcher, and Link Targeting Array, two of them with Major Mark Wand. And then you have a Stormtrooper unit with the Astromech, and then about 4 Scouts. Or, I mean, obviously, you could have 2 Stormtroopers and 3 Scouts. You're going to see probably a combo of this. And if you're ever going to actually run the triple ATST Tempest Force, I'd probably definitely have some Astromechs. I've now seen the 3 ATSTs go down at least by turn 3, if not turn 4 at the latest, because of how much of a threat they are, how many points they are, and yeah, without them, everyone else just kind of has to be thin enough to make room for this. And or if you have a low bid, you could hopefully outplay your opponent's list here with the objectives and find more trooper-based objectives and just try to do your best at taking out these small units of troopers. So that way the ATSTs cannot pick up, recover the supplies. They don't count towards intercept the transmissions. They don't count towards, sabotage the moisture evaporators. So if you can take out the infantry and or supports for the ATSTs, then you don't necessarily have to worry as much about the ATSTs. You just have to make sure you're not getting hit. And yeah, it might seem like a good idea to try to get on the other arcs so that they can't fire at you or that they have to pivot. And I would probably make sure you're doing that after they use the command card that allows them to do free pivots. So you have, where is it? Constantly on alert? No, it's a 2-pip, isn't it? So the Squadron on Me, Major Mark Wand, you'll give it to him. He can direct it to another ATSD, but at the start of the Mark Wand's activation, each friendly vehicle at range 1 may perform a free pivot and then a speed 1 move for free. That means it can include the ATSC that doesn't have an order, because it just says other friendly vehicle units at range 1 of him. So as long as the 2 other ATSTs or Major Mark 1's in the middle of the 2 other ATSTs, you should be able to use that to get them to turn and shoot. So you got to be careful. Yeah, you might be getting in the side arc, but if they play this, it doesn't matter. You double moved, wasted a shot, and now they're just going to blow you away. And I think these triple ATSTs, Tempest Force lists are going to be great, but again, like I said, you probably have to have that R for Astromech to help support the ATSTs, since that's your centerpiece. So it just kind of depends. You could fit, 2 Stormtroopers with the R4 and Recon Intel, and then 3 Scout Troopers with the 3 ATSTs. You don't have to have the Recon Intel in case you want a bid, which you're probably going to want to have anyway, because tabling your opponent might not work always. It's worth a shot, but, you can try. But, yeah, so double darks or triple ATSTs is going to be huge. Now, let's look at some high impact lists. But before we do, let me go over just a few quick things. If you haven't already, go ahead and head to the Discord. There you're going to be able to find, list ideas or people asking questions, in which case we're going to try to help. And, if we look at CIS, you have Emperor Atlantis doing his best to help really with everyone there. CK or C Clingy and everyone asking questions. It's really awesome to see, again, everybody coming together and talking with each other and giving ideas and or helping them with their lists. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and join the Patreon. This is where you're going to help the channel grow a lot and help with the giveaways, as well as get videos early. And you're going to be able to get more entries into giveaways for September, the very first or second week of September, whatever that is. I will make sure that everyone knows and post it on the YouTube channel for you guys. Also, If you haven't already, you can head to theburnacademy.com for $15 a month. You can subscribe to get 3, 4, 5, and 6-day week workout programs. You can get corrective exercise programs, 30-minute torture program in case you're short on time. You get 120 different recipes, and that's like different recipes. So like paleo, vegetarian, keto, or whatever it is, Mediterranean, whatever the different stuff, like style diet you have, there's going to be something for you. And then ways to track your progress and videos and descriptions of the workouts, as well as kind of different variations. So this is here to help you make sure that you look like a pro while you're in the gym. So if you don't know what you're doing, or you need ideas, or you need anything like that, you can subscribe, and there you're going to have your own app that you can download that's got all the information you need. But all right, so let's take a quick look at the different impact lists. So this one I'm going with EchoBase, and that's mostly also because of the hold at any cost, being able to give the standby tokens to emplacement troopers, which you're going to have at least 3 cannons, FD laser cannons, and 2 Mark II blasters that will all get a standby, and or the rebels can coordinate to either the laser cannon teams or the medium blasters. If you had extra points, you could probably give the laser cannon team like a link targeting array so that you could recover after giving it an order, and it still has an aim to be able to shoot. So there's different ways to be able to use it. But yeah, mostly that hold at any cost. Whenever you have the ATSTs bearing down on you, or dark troopers bearing down on you, give those laser teams and the medium blaster those standby so they can shoot before their activation and then shoot during their activation after utilizing those standbys. Because the standby is not used when it's activated, it's on a different, time, and then during its activation. So it wouldn't be able to attack and then use the standby, obviously for multiple different reasons. But yeah, you give them the standby. Hopefully it gets triggered because they have a range 1 to 3 Overwatch standby range, and then when it's their turn, then they can just aim and shoot again. But that should hopefully do a lot for impact, because you'll have impact 3 with the overcharge generator per laser cannon team, so that's 369. The airspeeder has also 3 impact 3, so that's 12. And then the power harpoon technically is also impact and a tow cable, so you can thematically in a way kind of rotate the ATSD. And then the medium blaster is surge to crit for 2, or critical 2 I should say. And then the CMO93 is also critical 2. And then Luke Skywalker has impact 2, pierce 2. So everyone either has some sort of way to get crits and or impact. And, the airspeeder can also hopefully get behind the different ATSTs and or at least help reposition that ATST. Again, hopefully either after they've played that card or in a way that it won't affect you no matter if they do play that card. But it's 0 points, it's free, and so it gives you kind of like an impact 4 during that turn. And since you have that Arsenal 2, once you get past them, then you can just shoot behind you at that range 1 or 2, a red dice. More than likely they're not going to have cover because you already moved past them behind cover. So there's lots of ways to kind of make sure you're getting crits through. And even at least if there is heavy cover in the ATSTs because they're behind buildings, the critical 2 on the Rebel Veterans, the CMO93, and or the medium blaster will still wind up going through because it's a surge to crit. It's not just impact. So there's lots of ways to generate a lot of the crits that you need. And then with Luke Skywalker, I'd rather have, him at the moment because he's going to be a good backline holder if you do have someone else who is coming in, or you do have the Dark Troopers. The Impact 2, Pierce 2 is really going to wind up helping. And then he does have a range attack just in case. That is also Pierce 2, Surge to Crit. He doesn't have Sharpshooter, but if you get something out of cover, that whole Pierce 2 on both weapons is nice. And then you do have the Courage of the Rebellion that gives you a free recover. So that way you can recover Force Push and or Force Reflexes when you need it. And then you can also, if you don't give it to him and he hasn't utilized his, push or reflexes, or you don't need him to recover necessarily, you can give it to the laser team who will recover the overcharged generators and get these orders that they need. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It seems like it's 10 activations. If you need to go down to 9, that's fine, but most of the Tempest Force stuff that's got triple ATSD is going to be 8 activations, possibly even with a bid. So having more is going to help drastically, in my opinion. But yeah, so like I said, this is like, possibly Impact 4, and then 9, so that's 13. And then you have the Critical 2, and then at least 15. You have Impact around 15, you have around at least impact 15 naturally, and then surge to crit on a lot of these. So hopefully you're taking down an ATST or two soon, and or the Dark Troopers pretty soon. In which case, we'll probably see a lot of people not take the Darks and or triple ATST at some point, because everyone's going to be teching against it. But yeah, it's just, here's an idea for Rebels, in case you do like to play Rebels. And I wanted to just make it an Echo-based Defenders list, again, also because of the hold at any cost and Courage of the Rebellion. All right. Next, I've wound up playing this list not too long ago, and it's Impact 20. Impact 22 for one round, I guess I should say. So you have General Veers with improvised orders. You don't need it if you don't want it. You know, the only reason I had it is because if I draw a core and maybe I wanted a bike who was getting shot at soon, I could use the improvised orders. If you don't want the improvised orders on there, maybe put the concussion grenade launcher on the ATST and forego the improvised orders. If you don't do that, at least his 1 pip is impact 2. So when you play maximum firepower, you're getting an extra impact 2 range 4 to infinity. So you can do some early damage, hopefully, on an ATST. And he's got sharpshooter 1, so if he is behind a building to begin with, you know, it's at least light cover, and then you're probably getting 2 to 3 of those red hits through, and hopefully doing at least 1 to 3 damage in the opening round before any of your other units have gone. And then at least General Veers gets to contribute something for that first round. And then the Stormtrooper Heavy Response teams has the DLT range 1 to 4, impact 1, and then the HH-12s range 2 to 4, impact 3. So you have impact 4. Yeah, you have to recover and you can't quite move, but having impact 4 times 2, so impact 8, allows you to just kind of hold that position and just hunker down. You have 2 snowtroopers with the astromech just to make sure that the speeder bikes and or the ATST doesn't get knocked down super fast by the 3 ATSTs, because with 3 ATSTs, it's impact 3, 6, 9, unless they have the twin light blaster cannon, in which case it'd be 4, 8, 12, and you only have 11 health. So having those astromechs really come in handy for that ATST and or bikes. But if you're moving your bikes in pretty fast, they each have impact 2 until one dies, which becomes impact 1. But say that you have both of them, at least in the first round, you could have the impact 8, and then with the twin light blaster cannon, that's impact 12. And then you have another 8 here, so that's impact 20. And then with that first opening card, you have impact 22 in the first round. Hopefully you're taking out Marquand, because then you get rid of all of his command cards, you get rid of the direct, you get rid of the field commander, and then they have to promote somebody, and then hopefully the stormtroopers or whoever else is around is at range 1 to 2 of that commander, or else they remove 1 less oppression. And definitely remember that too. And yeah, the speeder bikes are just going to help big time. So here's an impact 20 list that you can go up against with the triple ATST stuff. And you have an ATST of your own. So it's really nice. And then you have unrelenting fire, evasive maneuvers to make sure you give at least a dodge to the ATST whenever he needs, and maybe one to the speeder bikes. You have Imperial Discipline so that you can recover both of your HH-12s, so that way you can give it to Veers, and both of them, they'll recover. You go with Veers, you give them both an aim, and then you aim again, and then you shoot. Or, you know, if you got to do something else, that's fine. You have kind of other stuff that you can go with. But yeah, it seems like a very fun list, and if they need to move, I went with Debark for ground assault, so that if they need to spur for that last minute breakthrough, or to make sure someone else doesn't get there, especially because the snows are speed 1, that spur really comes in handy. And it's again 10 activations, hopefully out activating the Tempest Force and or possibly the Double Darks, who can go. I've seen up to 12 acts, because the Double Darks go twice with Sean from Terrain Studio. Yeah, so that's really nice. That's really cool. So yeah, there is a Blizzard Force version. Now here's another Impact 20 list for the Republic. You have Commander Cody. He's got aggressive tactics and portable scanners, so we can make sure he gives out those surges when he needs to. You've got a generic clone commander with nothing. You've got 3 phase 1s with the RPS 6. You have another 2 of them with the RPS 6 with the clone engineer and recon intel, so that way you can kind of get a little bit closer to the ATRTs that have scout as well, because the ATRTs have scout 1. You're also going to have scout 1, so you can kind of go behind them to make sure that you've got that cover when you need it. But yeah, this is impact 20 so far because you have the laser cannons on 3 ATRTs. Now, I feel like this is going to be good because the Clone Commander Cody, with his at least combined arms, when a friendly vehicle unit declares an attack against an enemy unit that has an observation token, they may spend the token, and if they do spend that token after the attack, a friendly clone trooper unit at range 1 of that vehicle may perform speed 1 move, either getting your RPSs into a better position so that they can just aim and fire, because sometimes, obviously, your opponent moves a vehicle out of range or in a different way that you can't see them because they're so low. This gives you the ability to move up to 2 RPS units into a better position. Just because, or even 3. Because you have the 3 ATRTs and at least 3 phase 1s. And then you've got the Clone Commander to be able to give out an order to one of the RPSs for a fire support with the laser cannon, giving you an impact, I think, 5, because the range 2 to 4 laser cannons are impact 3, and then the RPS is impact 2. Yeah, so impact 5, and you're rolling a single rainbow with, I think, a black and 2, or a red and 2 black is what I meant. So you're rolling 2 red, 3 black, and a white. So, yeah, not bad. 6 dice. Impact 5. No, you don't have sharpshooter or anything, so that's kind of suck. But I wanted to do a list that could definitely have 10 activations and have as high of an impact list as possible. That's why I went with Commander Cody, and are all RPSs. Again, probably because you're going to encounter a lot of them. And with Synchronized Offensive, being able to direct an ATRT and then give it to an ATRT, and then have a Clone Commander give an order to one of the phase 1s, maybe give another order to the other phase 1s from the card here. So now you've got 2 units that can fire support, and then you've got 2 ATRTs with an order. If you want to give at least one the link targeting array, you can. It's still giving you a 2-point bid, but, at least one of them always get an aim, because you're probably going to need aims like crazy on them. But yeah, it seems like a very fun list. If you don't need Have I Ever Let You Down, then you can change that out, obviously, for like push or something. But air support doesn't have extra impact, so that's why, again, I'm trying to go with Clone Commander Cody and the ATRTs and the RPSs. But yeah, this is a 10 activation, 793 without the link targeting array, giving you points to either move things around, take things away, or give yourself that bid or whatever. And all of these links will be down below in the description. All right, so spiders. Let's look at some spiders. So we have 3 spiders. We have one with the nose-mounted laser cannon to keep walking forward, kind of distracting the ATSTs or whatever from the other 2 the best you can, who have the nose-mounted ion blaster. If you did want this, then that's fine. I mean, obviously, I have it to where you've got 6 E60R troopers, which is all impact 2 still. They have to recover, and they're kind of, you can move with them. It's not like they're cumbersome. So that's extremely nice. And so you can move and shoot, and then or recover and shoot. It's just whatever you need to do. But it's the fact that you don't have cumbersome is really nice, because in the PK series worker droids, you can move and still shoot it fine. Then maybe recover, heal, shoot, whatever you got to do, like I said. And if you don't like the E60s, yes, it's impact 2, which is really nice. If you wanted to trade it out for the E5s, B1, it's got critical 1, so at least you're possibly getting 1 through. It just kind of depends. Like I said, with the very first list, with the Rebel Hoth list, they have at least critical 2 on some of them. That way, if there is cover, the crits still wind up going through into the armor instead of impact, where cover kind of still can take away some of those hits before transferring. So if you wanted to put that E5 on the PK series worker droid ones, yeah, it kind of takes you down a little bit on impact and possible crits against the armor, but you've got a more mobile where you can still aim and shoot or move and shoot without having to recover and spend that time to recover. And the reason I have the T-Series droid is to be able to go ahead and start that engagement with everyone. And it's, just a cheap way to also get some extra surges. So that way your E60s can have that possible surge to hit when needed. And I've got a Dwarf Spider droid with the AI move or attack. Yeah. And then the nose mounted laser cannon is critical 1, still allowing some sort of crit to get through. And it's not bad dice either. So that is an easy way with Kalani to be able to have reinforcements as well with some of your Dwarf Spider droids, because I think with the do not underestimate our means, you can choose up to 3 friendly units with AI, and then they gain reinforcements. So maybe you just set aside all 3 Dwarf Spider droids until the very end when you need it. And I've also got rollout on here to be able to get them closer than anything. And I have breakthrough. I don't have bombing run because sometimes they're just going to be sitting still and trying to shoot. Especially with the Impact 2 and Ion 1. If you were to be able to shoot both of these at Marquand can't do anything. The other ones are probably going to move and or stay back themselves. Or again, if you move the Dwarf Spider droid too close, they'll probably shoot at that one. But again, it's 13 points less, so you'd have to really get rid of a PK series droid to make this Dwarf Spider the exact same as this Spider droid. Well, 83. So technically, it would only be 8 points more, I think. So yeah, as long as you got rid of, that, you could technically have a third Spider droid without link targeting array. Because again, with Kalani, at least with Kalani, you maybe play one of his command cards. You give that order, instead of giving it to him, you give it to this Spider droid. They get an aim and the order. And then he's also got direct AI, so during the command phase, you can place an issue, or you can give an order to a friendly AI unit at range 1 to 2. So now you've got 2 Dwarf Spider droids that at least have an aim and an order. And then you can also use Strategize to give them an extra aim and dodge. So that's super, super nice. But again, it's mostly you're going to be able to do a lot with 2 of them. And so that's why this third one I've just kind of allowed to just go and do whatever he needs to do. Maybe because it's a vehicle, he can block line of sight for these other battle droids that need to get in close. And then you've got the PK worker droid to be able to do what they need to for each other and or the Dwarf Spider droid. Also, the Dwarf's self-destruct mechanism has Blast and Impact 1. So in case you wind up needing that extra impact after it has more than 4 wounds or about 4 wounds that you can self-destruct if you'd like, you get that Blast and Impact, which is really nice still. So yeah, this is just an 11-act Spider Impact list. Now I have another one that is Impact just regular droids. It does have the 2 Dwarf Spiders that I was talking about, but instead of another Spider, a third one, I have 2 Magna Guards with the RPS 6. Again, they don't have to recover, and it's not cumbersome, so you can just move and shoot, or aim and shoot constantly. And that would be Impact 4. These guys, another Impact 4, so Impact 8 altogether. And then you've got 2, 4, 6. So what is that? 14. So you have Impact 14 in this list. And you do have at least 2 PK Worker Series droids. Maybe one that's naked to stay back behind the Magna Guards, and or another one that can stay back behind or around the Dwarf Spider droids to make sure that they kind of do something with them. And then I have the defense protocols on the Spider droids, mostly for that AI dodge and outmaneuver. Because they have armor, obviously you have a ton of people bringing impact, especially with the ATSTs having impact. Being able to spend a dodge, have nimble, and cancel those crits to keep them alive a little bit longer, because they're already going to be getting aims with the link targeting array. And with Kalani being able to strategize, that's 2 aims and a dodge per round. If you just keep, giving that order from Kalani to a Dwarf and then AI directing the other one. Yeah, and then you could use the T-Series droid to direct these battle droids, and then they should be able to get to possibly 1 Magna Guard. So then the only real thing that you'd have in your bag are 2 commanders and a Magna Guard, depending on what order it is, obviously. But yeah, so this is really, really nice to have. It, like I said, it's not as big of an impact list, but it's still something that you can use. And you still have 7 points to do with what you want. So, if you need anything on the Magna Guard, like if you wanted tenacity or if you wanted hunter or something like that. Maybe not hunter, maybe offensive push just to get that extra aim. So they'll have retinue with the Kalani, so they'll get a free aim to begin with. But in case you wanted another aim, you could go with that. You could go with, Overwatch on one of them. You could go with Protector on one of them. You've got some points. Or just in case if you needed a grenade, you could do maybe 3 grenades. Maybe there's some reason to bring extra either impact grenades or concussion grenades, whatever. But yeah, this is 10 activations again, just to make sure you're staying at a very high activation count, because bodies matter, especially when you do intercept, recover, sabotage, and key positions. Trying to play off of the fact that you've got a ton of trooper units versus either triple ATST, which might not have the best infantry, and a double dark list. They might succeed a lot about that, but you do at least have ions to where you can slow them down a little bit more. So we might even see more spiders in coming up in different tournaments because of that. You might also see a lot of Bistan with his ion. Again, it's a little weak, but maybe they'll go down in points with him soon. But yeah, this is a really cool, impact droid list in case you're interested. Now we'll go with Black Sun, or we'll go with Shadow Collective, and then that should end it out. So we have Black Sun impact. So it's mostly obviously Black Sun and a speeder truck. You've got the 2 Vigos. You've got Maul with choke and push, just to make sure he goes after all of the infantry, gets stuck in and embedded so the ATSTs can't hit him. Because if you try to base an ATST with Maul or anyone else, you're not technically engaged in melee. You can melee, but other people can still shoot you. So you want to get Maul not into base contact with the ATSTs, but into contact and embedded in the troopers. You've got a ton of Black Sun Enforcers, obviously with the Magdets, and I've got prepared supplies so that they can try to stay alive a little bit longer. And the Magdet Enforcers are Impact 3 each and also have Blast. And then you've got a speeder truck that's got the Impact 2 AG quad laser and the Frenzied Gunner, just to kind of help make sure you push through cover and still get that Impact 2 on each shot. And that Frenzied Gunner being able to add a white, black, or red is very, very helpful, because I've had, and especially since they don't surge, having that extra dice kind of helps. And then you've got the Black Sun with the Vigo and frag grenades inside the speeder truck to help. But here you at least have the impact, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 17, 19. So you have impact 19 in this list all together, and that should still help. Now, I don't have improvised orders on here, because if you need to, you really need to make sure you've got order control in the very, very, very beginning of the game for that speeder truck, so that the speeder truck doesn't move forward too early and get shot. That's why, maybe if you decide to use the Phantom Menace and infiltrate Maul, then you can play standing orders and give it to the speeder truck, whatever you do, because you've also got 3 commanders in here. So the chances of getting Maul early and or later, you can choose. So that's a good thing about this list particularly, is you're trying to give it, he has allies of convenience, which means that he can order the speeder truck. The Black Sun Vigos would not be able to do that. So you'd have to be able to have Maul in at least range 3 of this AA5 speeder truck when you infiltrate, to give the AA5 speeder truck that order when he needs it. Other than that, you'd pretty much have a good order control. It's 9 activations, so you're looking a little low, especially for a very amazing 8-act list with armor and 11 health. You got to just be careful and play it careful. But yeah, if you need to save points on the AA5, maybe you can get rid of the Frenzied Gunner, because obviously it's got armor, so it's going to be eaten alive by all the impact that is out right now. So just be careful how you place the AA5. Try to keep it behind cover and try to go last first with it if you can, especially in the very, very beginning. And it's a very simple list. The only reason I have the prepared supplies on there is because they don't have the Vigo and they don't have that extra surge. So yeah, you're going to need all the help you can get, especially with the big dice pulls from the ATSTs. It's going to be a double rainbow at least every time, and then either 2 black or another single rainbow or whatever it is. And they're all going to wind up surging because that's how people are going to wind up taking it. I mean, if you're not taking the Elite Armor Pilot on these ATSTs, there's no point in having 3 ATSTs. You're just not playing to the max benefit of the armored units. And then last but not least, here's another Impact Shadow Collective. It's got a little bit, different flavor to it because you still have Maul. You've got the Mandalorian Super Commandos with Rook to gain that extra retinue with Maul and the Super Commando Jetpack Rockets. Now, if you were to get into range 2 of an armored unit, you could have 2 of your generics shoot the Jetpack Rocket to gain Impact 2, Critical 2, and then you still are shooting 4 red, 4 red, and then another one's going to be shooting a black white, and then you've got another 2 white coming. So lots of black, or lots of dice anyway. Yeah, so that could be a really good combo because, again, if you're rolling 4 red, 3 white, and a black, what was that, 7, 8 dice that's coming in, critical 2, impact 2, and hopefully you're getting some natural crits. So it could wind up being impact 4s, essentially, but you're using everyone else's gun to hope for more damage. And then you have the Black Sun Enforcers that are going in with the fragmentation grenades. If you don't want the frag grenades and you needed some extra points, sorry. So you're probably going to have to get rid of situational awareness. You're at 799 over here. You've got 2 Black Suns with the Magdet and the Black Sun Vigo, and then you have 2 Pike Capos with the P-13 Disruptor Soldiers. So they have all Impact 1, but it's farther away, so they can kind of stay hidden in cover and don't have to get as close as the Black Suns do. And you still have that Impact 1 at range 4, which is really, really nice. But yeah, and then the 2 Capos with that. If you didn't, there's really not any other room to get rid of, a Capo and put in either, sorry guys, be able to put in, another Disruptor, Foot Soldier, or anything like that. If you got rid of the Commandos, then sure, you could technically have 10 activations, but the only reason I had the Super Commandos was because of the Jetpack Rockets. They move really, really fast, and they'll have that courage to end red die saves with Surge. And then if you wind up playing Maul's command cards, if you have to give it to another trooper unit, you could at least give it to a trooper unit that will benefit with Defend 1 when you need it, instead of having to give it to someone that has independent completely. But the Mandos, if they get an order, they get something. If they don't get an order, they get something. So it's really nice to have a Mando unit with Maul sometimes. But yeah, if you don't want that, just go with another Black Sun Enforcer, and then you're going to have some points left over to kind of deck out all the Black Suns with Recon Intel and or frag grenades for sure. But that is it, guys. You're looking at, for this one, we'll have Impact 2, possibly 6 altogether right there, and then 12, and then Impact 15. So Impact 15 in this list alone, the way it is, especially if you just did, only the rockets, that's, Impact 15 altogether. So yeah, hopefully it's sad to see that there's going to be so much armor. It's going to be redundant. And you're probably going to see a ton of anti-armor lists, which just narrows the list building aspect and what can happen. And I try to always look at, or always only do the positive stuff, because I'm always, in trying to help, always telling you guys the negative parts of stuff is annoying and it doesn't help. So always trying to give a positive outlook or a good view on what to take and what to do is something I like doing myself. So yeah, here are different lists all day long that can try to counter mostly armored lists. So if you liked it, definitely leave a comment down below, hit the like button, invite other people to check out these videos, and if you haven't already, head to the Discord where you can talk away and ask away about whatever questions you have, or if there's anything that you want to talk about, even with Shatterpoint or MCP. I haven't gotten into Shatterpoint yet or anything like that, but if you're painting, definitely get in and show off your stuff. If you got lists that have worked for you, go ahead and post them in here. And I always ask people, you know, if they ever win a game, put it in here and say that you won, what list you won with, and because the more people get to see either what lists works or what does work and what doesn't work and or how things go, it's another way to learn strategies and what does and doesn't work. So that's why I enjoy people kind of posting their a little bit of a bat rep as well. And then head to the Clan of Shadows where you're going to get this list you're going to get this video every Sunday afternoon, and it'll come out on Thursdays. So yeah, hopefully this keeps growing to give out more giveaways and better giveaways. Also, you can help out my business with subscribing for $15 a month, downloading the app, and you've got tons of stuff to do while you're at home. Lots of ways that you're going to have everyday reminders to make sure you're doing things right and to stay on you so that way you succeed. I don't want you to fail at what you're doing at all, even in list building or anything like that. So by all means, make sure that you are doing things safely, effectively, and efficiently. But all right, guys, that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, leave a comment down below. Now, I want to give a special shout out to all of the Patreon members that I have now. Thank you so much to Tyson. Thank you, Kitsune, Emperor Atlantis, and Daniel Padilla for all that you've committed and that you do. And then thank you, Anthony Estrada, for coming through with so much and doing so much for this channel. And Emperor, you guys are amazing and do so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, for everyone else, I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day.